Uy.
Main objective is PvP based.
He knows. No way.
He's gone. He's gone.
But the game has a strong PvE element where you are going after a boss monster.
Oh, thanks, ball for me.
It's essentially a battle royale, but instead of the map getting smaller, you're tracking a bounty, a monster. You kill the monster, you try and leave. There are other teams in the map that are also trying to kill the same monster and leave with its bounties, which is where the PvP element comes in. And that's the part that I really think is the coolest and the best part of the game.
You gonna rush me? Killed him.
Good job.
Hey, I did shit!
Good job.
I'm a cool guy today.
You are going after a boss monster randomly put on the map somewhere, and the whole time you're fighting other players while they
Randomly
are also
put
trying
one
to
of the three
find that
maps.
boss monster.
Yes.
Whoever kills him gets his loot and gets out is the winner.
I would be annoyed.
4 seconds. 2.
I'm in.
Oh my god.
Hi everybody, my name is Ian. In the game I go by Sephirius, and my friends often call me Tal.
Alright,
Welcome to my
name's
channel.
Terry. Online I go by Worldly Wiseman or Cornix.
Welcome to my channel.
I am Laurel Kanan,
Draftsnat.
and I go by Blue.
Welcome to my channel.
My name is Maya, but I go by Moth in the game.
Do I like Hunt Showdown? That is a very loaded question. The highs are very high, but the lows are also very low. So there are some days where I say I love this game, and some days where I say I hate this game and I wish I never installed it. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's been 4 years later and I still have it installed and still play it every day, do it every other day. So.
Do I like Hunt Showdown? Yes, usually. There's often a joke, like, so much so in Hunt that they made a t-shirt out of it, which is the, like, Hunt giveth and Hunt taketh away, and I think that's probably the most accurate description of how I feel about Hunt.
Oh god, I made a mistake!
Marksing.
Oh god, help me! Help me! Please, God,
He's dead.
help me!
Walk towards me. Walk towards me.
I'd like to witness the catastrophe.
I've got a hive on me now. Oh my god, Blue.
Technically, yes, I do like Hunt Showdown, and I'm a big proponent of the things you like will make you the most happy and the most upset, so.
I'm so fucking done with this bullshit, dude. I'm so fucking done with it. I hate this fucking game, bro. This is so dumb. All this is just dumb.
It is definitely a game that has its ups and its downs, and it can be rewarding and also extremely frustrating. Just on any given day, within an hour, you can go through a full range of human emotions on a moment-by-moment basis. I'm not sure I'd say I like it. It's probably one of those things where you don't like your kids, you love your kids, it's a similar situation.
Hunt Showdown has definitely made an influence on my friends and myself. We all meet up in the bayou to play the game.
I'm not sure I'd say I like it. It's probably one of those things where you don't like your kids, but you love your kids. It's a similar situation.
I see.
Fuck me.
He's out too! He's out too! He's out too!
Hunt Showdown has definitely made an influence on my friends and myself. We all meet up in the bayou to play the game.
Almost every person I know
Regrets. Welcome
plays
to my
Hunt Showdown,
channel.
whether they actually like the
Tarsai.
game or not. Some people
Welcome
play it
to my
just because
channel.
their friends are playing it. Some people really like the game.
Mind anyone who is in the friend group and who has any interest in video games will eventually be indoctrinated to playing it, or else they're going to be, you know, a little bit left out of the main focus of the friend group.
When you win big, you win real big, and when you don't win, you really don't win. But your friends are always there, and they lose with you or they win with you. That makes the whole difference. Not only that, when we're not playing the game, sometimes we're still talking about Hunt.
There's jokes about it constantly. We're doing things outside of Hunt all the time that relate back to it.
It's just good times, and I definitely think it is not a place where I wouldn't want my friends.
Alyssa.
Play
Welcome
Country
to my
Roads. Kind of interesting, great. So, yeah, I did this. Yeah. Well,
Seth. Here, Seth, 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 here, here, Seth, Seth, here, Seth, here, Seth, here, here, Seth, Seth, here, Seth, Seth, here, Seth, here, Seth, Seth, here, Seth, here, Seth, here, Seth, here.
Yuzu is dead. Oh, here we go. Now, I do want to stop.
But why? Why is she not allowed to fake it? What in tarnation? Brother, it's not a crime. She's not going to jail. She can fake it if she wants to, but why does she keep pretending that it's legitimate? She lied about it. Simple as that. You can still be a fan of her if you want. I don't care.
True.
Aaliyah. Welcome to my channel.
Asmin is talking live on stream with her mod who says her third monitor is strictly for chat, apparently. Oh, God. Wait, what? Why isn't she defending herself? Not that that's possible.
it's 100% irrefutable that she faked it. Like, it's happening right now. Let me see.
With Mitriz, the blindfold expert who's been helping her and everything that we went through. I'm happy to answer any questions regarding this. There is no she did nothing wrong. She did not cheat anything. She has not cheated anything. And I understand that there is a lot of skepticism and there's a lot of questioning. And I think that it's important for us to understand that conjecture is not equal proof. There is no.
It's not conjecture. What?
There's a lot of conjecture. There's a lot of.
There is proof. Irrefutable proof.
On the table that people claim.
What?
Oh, she did this. She moved that. She did. But there's no actual proof that any of this happened.
Well, there's no proof that it did either.
Wait, what? That's what a bunch of baloney. That is the proof. No one can go there physically and like gather evidence from the crime scene. All you can do is base it on what she has posted. Huh? That is irrefutable proof.
What would it take to prove that she is indeed legitimate? If it meant covering the third monitor, showing a camera with all three monitors, and showing that there are no other monitors present, showing that she's still wearing the exact same blindfold that was recommended by a world expert, used by Mitriz and Babzia themselves, you know, what does it take? Because I know for a fact that she can do this. She's done it not once, not twice, but several times. Her second attempt is a purely legitimate run that was done with every specification that Mitriz mentioned. And it's met with nothing but criticism, which I understand. I don't think that it's unreasonable to be skeptical. But I think that to bend an argument to fit your purpose is not appropriate. To say, that, oh, this is what must have happened because this is what I believe happened, when it didn't happen. She's being accused of a crime she didn't commit. And I know that for a fact. I'm willing to put money on it.
I will take you up on that. I'll take him up on that 100%. It is irrefutable evidence. Here's how she can prove it. She goes to a completely neutral setup. A single monitor. One monitor, completely covered, same blindfold, and even put like a piece of tape so that way you can't see anything out the bottom of it. And then do it again. And I would put money that she can't. That is the freest bet of all time. There is irrefutable proof. I don't know why he's yapping about that. It's not conjecture.
My understanding of the psychological body language, whenever that happens, people usually actually huddle up more to protect their mid-body because that's where your organs are. That's where you know.
I shouldn't have muted because now I'm lost in this.
I'm a physician.
You don't.
That's not
true. It's not entirely true. Well, which one is more true than the other?
People have different physiological responses to stress.
Sure.
And so her changing her body position, her head position, is in one way or another. It doesn't mean that she's trying to position herself to see something or to maneuver something. I mean, if you, I'd be happy to send you the same blindfold she used.
It has nothing to do with the blindfold.
To do what she's been accused of doing. And to
someone did do that.
Difficult that would even
well, I mean, I could barely do it with the blindfold off. All right, so I don't want to get that far.
And congratulations, by the way. Yeah. We're all very happy for you for getting that kill.
Oh, okay. This is a bunch of delusional cope here. What? I can't believe that this is even as big of an issue as it is. It's not conjecture. What he just said, someone has already done to prove how she faked it. That's just crazy to me.
It's the hermit. How kind of interesting.
So apparently that is one of her mods that's talking about how this is all, you know, a bunch of baloney, that she did do this legitimately, and no matter what, no one's believing her. Even though Carl and the community have proven exactly how she cheated with irrefutable evidence. Thanks, membership, Zachary. Again, if she wants to prove that it's legitimate, she goes to a neutral setup. Maybe Carl set something up or someone set something up. It's a single monitor. Cover the monitor. Even, you know what, she can even face away from the monitor. Blindfold on, piece of tape under it so that way you can't see through the bottom. Stay in a neutral position, look straight down. You don't need to be like doing anything special with your head, right? It's blindfold. Look straight down. And then and do it there. It should be easy if it's real. Nothing should change. Yeah, just turn the monitor around. Every single actual blindfold runner has called it out. And again, this is irrefutable evidence of exactly how she faked it. But why? Why is she not allowed to fake it? What in tarnation? Brother, it's not a crime. She's not going to jail. She can fake it if she wants to, but why does she keep pretending that it's legitimate? She lied about it. Simple as that. You can still be a fan of her if you want. I don't care. But it's just, it's not real. And she keeps pretending that it is, and now her mod's fighting her battles for her. And I know I saw that Cheetos as a fire track. I appreciate it. Thanks, Cole. Obviously she cheated. Who cares? That's what I'm saying. If she just came out and said, "Yep, I faked it," so what? She would probably gain so much more than fighting this losing battle. It's clear she cheated. It has all been put out in the open exactly how, to a T, and replicated. So just open up to it, admit to it, and you'd be much better off. You would gain from that as opposed to just continuing to embarrass. I just don't get the point. How did she fake it? Here, I'll just play this little section here. I highly recommend checking out Carl's 2 videos on it because he does such a great job covering it. But fundamentally, this is what she does. And this guy demonstrates exactly how... Why isn't it loading? Okay. I don't know why this video is not loading.
You fold like this,
There we go.
knows you don't wear them loose, you wear them tight. If you wear them loose, light gets in.
This guy did her exact method, covered up the monitors and everything. So fundamentally, what it is, she leans back, whoops, went too far. She leans back in her chair, she wears her blindfold tight so that way she can see out the bottom and to the right. And she has a third monitor right here, which Carl in the community was able to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt because she accidentally read chat messages from a monitor that's off screen and then tried to fake that she read it from over here. So she has a third monitor here that is uncovered, and she looks out the bottom of her blindfold, which you can do, which this guy proves you can do, with the exact same blindfold, and she's able to just see it like that. But again, anyone with a functioning cerebral cortex will be able to know that the things she does in these runs is impossible if you are blindfolded. She is constantly turning her camera to look at the face of the dragon. When she grapples onto the wrong part of the dragon, she immediately ungrapples, which is something she'd have no idea if she was really blindfolded. She would have no clue she didn't grapple onto the head of the dragon. It'd be impossible. It's just blatantly fake. But here, she looks out the bottom here at the third monitor. Rotten Kiwi. I know, that's why we're talking about it, because I was listening to the mod go into an absolute... Like, the mod is trapped in a genjutsu. The mod that's right now trying to defend her is completely on a different dimension. He's not in reality right now. I'm 100% sure that she'll come back and triple down with another run. I think so too, but there's nothing else she can do. Go to a neutral location, a single monitor, turn the monitor around, or turn it off, you don't need it on. Set up the kill, turn off the monitor, wear the same blindfold, look straight down, and do it. You don't need to have your head facing forward. If it's blindfolded, that's not doing anything for you. Look straight down and do it. Did she admit to it the first time? No, which is why she did another run.
Melanie Jam. Welcome to my channel.
She just won't admit to it for some inexplicable reason. Like, there's no reason not to. There's a reason, more controversy, more money. I don't think so, though. She'd gain so much more if she's like, yeah, I fucking faked it. Like I said, I feel like she'd come out much more on top if she's like, yep, I did fake it. Just play the villain. That guy is a classic Hornet. Yeah, that one is great. But do you think this is possible to do? I don't know Elatrion at all. I don't know if it's possible blindfolded. I couldn't tell you. Blindfolded runs are possible though in other games like Super Mario 64. They use sound cues, which is not what she's doing at all. Damien. If they're sensitive to sounds, it is possible though. No, it's not, because there's some things that this dragon does that have no sound cues, and she dodges them flawlessly. But her biggest tell, again, is what she does with her camera.
I realized this was a giant red herring.
If she's blindfolded, her camera, she'll have no idea where it is. It'd be impossible. There's no sound cues for your camera.
After several days of brainstorming, I was
Let me just show you the
beginning to
dragon
run
part.
outside. You hold the thing I needed of the input.
Does anyone remember the timestamp for the dragon grapple? I think it's here.
He also killed Alatreon in
Oh wait, no,
expert
this is showing
fashion.
his.
For some weeks, and for that entire time, she also did this. The fact that we can literally see her move OBS to the hidden screen is impossible to do if you like she's not even trying to hide it. And beyond all of this, the simple fact remains, the way she plays a game is impossible to do if you can't
It's around
see it.
18 minutes.
Now let's be real for a second. At the end of the day, this entire thing isn't a big deal. In her angle. Before her attempt with the new blindfold, she had spent around 1 hour playing with her old blindfold over multiple days and weeks. And for that entire time, she always sat like this. She was leaning forward
This is for the
and
grapple?
looking directly in front of her.
Things we
This
should
is
beef.
because while her blindfold was partially obscuring her sight, she could see straight through it and was looking at the monitor directly in front of her. With the new blindfold, she can't see through the front of it, which is why she has now completely changed her sitting position so she can see down and to the side. This is not a normal way to sit, and world-class blindfold speedrunner Bubsia confirms that when you see someone sitting in
No,
this
it's not here.
position,
Where,
it's a giant
I'm talking about for the
red
grapple.
If I turn up even more, but that's already looking very sus, I guess, if you sit there like your neck breaking. If I sit like this, for example, I can
It's
see
7 minutes in.
half of my monitor.
Treyon's leg.
Oh yeah, here. Thank you.
Software, it could help her aim
Hey,
on
Meadow.
the dragon. This would solve the problem of locating the dragon and also solve the vertical aiming issue. However, this wouldn't solve all of the problems, like being able to dodge attacks that don't have sound cues. In one instance, she accidentally hooked onto Alatreon's leg instead of its head, and immediately releases before targeting the head again. But there is no audible difference between hooking onto the leg or the head, so there is no way she should have known. In order to solve issues like this, I theorized that maybe someone was talking to her.
Like, it's just so blatant. Thanks, Chief. I just don't know why she just doesn't say, like, yep, I fucking cheated. Like, she'd get so much out of it. I know. That's why we're talking about it, because I was listening to the mod defend it. Defending the undefendable. No way the mod believes the stuff he's saying. I think he does. I was listening. It really seems like he truly believes it. Which is sad. You need to watch the Borderlands movie when it comes out? Yeah, I'll watch it. I'm not expecting it to be good, but I'll watch it. Is there any examples of people who cheated like this, gained infamy, and turned it into an actual following that wasn't just hated? I can't think for speed running, but for some other titles, yes. Speed running, I can't think of any though. And no, I didn't see that article at all, Mr. G.
Dark Ether and keep your tombstone in Season 2, almost reloaded, of Zombies. It works incredibly well, and there's a bunch of extra benefits that come with this new method from the...
We just got our first look at gameplay of Modern Warfare Zombies Season 2 Reloaded. Some of you may not even realize that this is coming out in just a few days' time, so we're going to be going all over the details, breaking down the trailer. We've been waiting 48 days for new content, and it's finally on the way this week. Let me know your honest thoughts from the trailer, and if you're excited for new content to finally be here, then let me know by dropping a thumbs up. I'll be streaming this the moment it drops on Wednesday, so be sure to hit that notification bell. I'm quite surprised this even has its own individual trailer, so that's pretty hype. We get our first look at the new Dark Ether Rift area, which is the Al Said Mall from Al Mazrah, and what we're seeing in the trailer is definitely the new story mission for Act 4, which is going to take us in this rift. But as we make our way to the main mall itself, you can see there's a ton of gas coming out of it, which is actually the sign of this being a really big stronghold. So unlike with Season 1's Act mission, where it was quite an open space, this looks to be quite contained, and as the characters make their way towards this upload station, it's electrified, and when they get too close, it transforms into a mimic. But this is not any old mimic. This is going to be a very special type of mimic, and as the trailer then splits to show that there are going to be multiple different elite bosses that we're going to have to take out, which are going to be EMP variants, something we haven't seen before in Modern Warfare Zombies. You can see the Manglet in the top left is electrified with different colored eyes, and the mimic is also electrified as well. But I would imagine these would be as strong as a tier 3 red zone bounty, maybe even more so, and I think this is going to be the main basis of the mission itself. And then towards the end of the trailer, it splits off again to show these pretty wild cosmetics, which I really hope are going to be tied to the completion of this Act 4 mission and not just new bundles in the store, because these look genuinely awesome. But the pacing of the trailer shows once we've taken them down, there's going to be a portal that we're going to need to take to leave, and then right near the end we see the brand new warlord run into the shot, which is called Kerry's. But what is a benefit to this area compared to the original Dark Ether is this is going to be a much bigger play space than before, which is going to be great. It shows that there's going to be a ton of mobility using the Scorcher to fly around just like you did, and I assume that there's going to be some secrets just like we saw with the Dark Ether, like secret locked rooms that require keys or something entirely different. But once we complete the story mission in this Dark Ether area, we won't be able to return back until we've completed a new Easter egg quest, just like we had with the original Rift, where we had to get the 4 different items to then place down somewhere. This is going to be the exact same thing this time around with another Easter egg quest that we're going to need to solve. And according to leakers, these items are going to be tied towards the backstory of Jack Fletcher from Terminus Outcome. So rather than these items be tied to Ava that we saw, such as the CCTV camera and all the other things, these are going to be different items. So I'm going to be really intrigued to see how this is going to differentiate from that first Easter egg, where it's not going to be so obvious how we work it out and get in there. But I assume just like with the first Dark Ether portal, once we've unlocked it, we will require a sigil in order to go in there afterwards, which you can get from tier 3 contracts, and there will also be the Elder Sigil version that we can go into as well, and that is where we'll be unlocking the brand new schematics, which, as we've known from Season 2's reveal, is going to include 3 new things. We're going to have a blood burner key schematic, so we can craft and spawn in a blood burner bike at any point, which is actually quite awesome. We're going to have the VR11 schematic, so we can finally craft them, add them to our stash. But the most fascinating new schematic is one called the Mags of Holding, which, as described by Kevin Drew in a Season 2 critical, this will essentially make any gun feel like a mini wonder weapon of sorts. It is essentially like having stock option for the entirety of the game that you're in, where the guns will never ever need to be reloaded, which is going to be so OP when it comes to some of the bigger capacity weapons. Outside of all of that as well, there is going to be a new warlord that's going to be added to the main Urzikstan map, which is called Kerry's, and we know that he is going to be using gas, and there are a lot of traps as well involved in that little area that he's going to be, which is going to be near the military base. Let's be honest, I don't think any of you watching are excited at all for the new warlord. I just don't want to be fighting AI soldier bosses. I want to be fighting massive, crazy Dark Ether bosses like we've seen with the Red Worm. That was quite a surprise to see in Season 1, and I know some people have stayed hopeful that we might see something similar with Season 2 Reloaded's update, but I wouldn't be too hopeful. That Red Worm was teased in the creator call to us, so we knew that there was something after the Season 1 Easter egg was finished, and we had no idea what it was. But I genuinely don't think anything like that is coming, unfortunately. What I'm really hoping this update brings as well that hasn't been shown in this trailer is some massive quality of life updates and upgrades to the game. We know within the files that there are the existence of a wallet system, just like we saw with DMZ, so that you're able to extract with cash and save it in the main menu. So in future runs, you can take big amounts of cash in, so you can immediately start buying stuff. And I think to runs DMZ so that you big amounts of cash in, so you can immediately start buying stuff. And I think we need that more than ever before, because Treyarch seem to be doing nothing but fixing all of the glitches and bugs that people use to find the game and save it in the main menu. So in future, those have now been fully fleshed out within the game's code, and we still don't have those yet. And I don't see a reason why those features should be held back when we really need new content and new features. Like, if this is all we get on Wednesday, then I'll be happy. But realistically, this is only going to last for a few days before the mode is going to be dead again. We need a new meta. We need something really big to be able to work towards so that our time is rewarded. And some of the X-Full Streak rewards genuinely do sound like useful things, where you get discounts off Pack-a-Punch, discounts off perks, discounts off the mystery box, even spawning in with points at the start of the game as long as you keep a X-Full Streak going. And I think it's a really great idea. But I am just really worried that this will only last us a few days before the game is just gonna be in the state that it's been in for the last 48 days, where there isn't anything else to grind. There is nothing else to do. There's no secret bosses to fight. There's nothing to unlock, and it's a real shame. I think that the cutscene that we're going to get at the end of this story mission on Wednesday is genuinely going to blow our socks off. Just like with the Season 1 Reloaded one, the cutscenes, to me, have been one of the strongest parts of the post-launch content for the game. And I know there hasn't been a lot of post-launch content, so that's not really difficult for me to say. But I'm just really crossing my fingers that there is a little bit more depth to this Dark Ether location than what we saw with the first one. Like, we had the secret doors, and that was awesome. But I'm really hoping that there are at least more than one little Easter egg that's littered around this Dark Ether Rift area, because this play space is a lot bigger than the previous one. Like, the mall is massive. There's quite a few different shops. There's all sorts of different ways to get into the different levels of the mall. There's also the rooftop as well. So I'm fully expecting there to be some sort of parkour puzzles at the very least, like we saw with the first Dark Ether Rift area, which is actually a really cool surprise. And I think by the fact that you can see the Scorcher being used to fly around, then there's definitely some places that are going to be advantageous to get to using the Scorcher. But I'd love to know what you think about this down below in the comment section. Your thoughts on the trailer, the content coming, what else you want to see and hope for with this update on Wednesday, because I'm sure we're going to get patch notes as well, and hopefully there's some quality of life in there. But I'll see you guys live on Wednesday when it drops at 5 p.m. UK time, 9 a.m. on the West Coast, and midday on the East Coast.
I got three things to say. God bless our troops, God bless Super Earth, and BAM! Start your Oh, fuck, I forgot that I activated this. Oh, I'm a fucking... You don't know how much I missed this, Dutch. You never will last Right back shooting again. What the fuck was that? Pimp, listen to me. You're keeping us alive. You forget about that one. And you keep him coming in. You're doing well, Pimp. Oh, Black Betty. Whoa, Black Betty. Good morning, Super Pimp. How do you know what kind of goddamn day it is? Now that I've been honorably discharged for unspecified reasons, I can tell you why you should join the Helldivers. Helldivers 2 is the latest addition to the DMV-like genre, but more importantly, it's the latest game to cross over two completely different genres into one beautiful new package. Whereas Palworld crossed over forced labor and Pokemon, Helldivers 2 is crossing over Dance Dance Revolution and war crimes.
Dance, you fat bitch.
And there's no place I'd rather commit my war crimes than to the tune of Credence and the rice fields of Nam. That's right, Pimp. Vietnam 2 is is here. We're running it back. Those tongue-punching Hollywood hippies been talking shit, so we took a play out of their playbook and remade Damn, then race-swapped the humans for robots. This one's for all the marbles, baby. Whereas Rising Storm 2 is your grandpappy's PTSD, this game is your great-grandson's PTSD. It's a bukkake of battle between us and them. Them being you-know-who. You-know-who being those fellas. Those fellas being, I can't say who, the Space Viet Congs. This is a test of how much democracy 4 men are capable of protecting, especially when each of them are given the right to a self-defense nuke, and a self-defense artillery barrage, and a self-defense orbital piss laser. All I'm missing is a giant magnet call-in, and I'll end Vietnam 2 tomorrow. The space rice farmers will be freed whether they like it or not. That's why we're here, right? Who cares? This is your chance to become a war hero. Your chance to win Vietnam this time, so they make dozens of movies about us shitting on the commies instead of that hippie propaganda. This is your battle between the indomitable human spirit and the weak non-liberty loving bugs, between the dirty calculators, calculate us, and the patriots. My orbital can of raid, and they're already gone. My desire to play and their servers' desire to die. Fuck post-traumatic stress disorder. It's time for future traumatic super disorder. Crash tip: if you want to dodge the cues so you can actually play the game, quit your job. This shit's gonna do something in 7 seconds. We might want to back up. To kick us off, lore. We play as Helldivers. Yes, sir! Super Earth's greatest liberators of the souls of these glittering borscht-loving commie fucks. Yes, sir! Just kidding, of course. These things don't have souls. Communists, that is. Yes, sir! And as Helldivers, there are only 2 cardinal rules. Blow up as many enemies as we can, and under no circumstances attempt peace with the Sputniks or the spiders, because that is treason. Peace talkers are sympathizers, and sympathizers will be treated with a golden shower from Uncle Sam himself. Yes, sir! Yes, sir, fool! The only lore you need to know is, as we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, in Super Earth we trust, in managed democracy we trust, and in liberty we deal. Yes, sir! Yes, sir! Yes, sir! But yes, we are killing the bugs because they have fossil fuels. So I guess we better get to making some fossils, gentlemen. Brash tip: you should kill yourself now. For our next topic of conversation, one of the more unique things about Helldivers is that they have employed one man to fuck up my day constantly. And by that I mean, this game has a game master that wakes up in the middle of the night to give the Space Viet Cucks more reinforcements and God knows what else. So you know what? Now I'm waking up at 3 a.m. to counter this shit. In fact, that's why I'm awake right now. Better yet, that's why I gave up on sleep years ago. I can't even get hard anymore. Do you know how much oil I have on my hands? Not nearly enough. So keep them coming, Joel, because you may be the game master, but I'm the fucking grand game fleet master pimp. Oh, the robots have red eyes. I will stare into the sun and get even redder eyes. Oh, they're made of metal. I will shoot silver up my ass and bark barcodes until I become magnetic. Oh, the game won't give me teammates. I will go outside, meet a woman who would make a great mother, woo her, and spin up a batch of little fleets. Then in 16 to 20 years, once we're all fighting age, I will build that squad and we will turn Maybelline Creek into a gaping hole. Who's with me? That's fair. Joel, I love you, baby. Maybe we can work out a deal. Perhaps we only reinforce on the weekends when I get to see my kids. Following that, let's talk about what it means to be a Helldiver. Your duty is to free the enemies of their delusions and educate them on the ways of managed democracy. And yes, from time to time, the educator's tools do require nukes, but doesn't every whiteboard come with an eraser? It's the same thing. Pull your head out of your ass, maggot. What side are you fighting for? Besides, sometimes we save people too, but oh, no one remembers that. They're always yapping on about how I called in a mortar barrage on the civilian extract. Not even God was perfect, okay? I'd like to see him try to fight the entire goddamn cast of the Terminator while trying to herd these nerds to safety. You think old shiny steel dick over here was treating them any better? Because if you thought that, you'd be mildly right, because they were at least alive before I got here. Besides, look, that one was a Decepticon. The Ministry of Truth approves this message. The Ministry of Truth approves this. But we're getting off track. The point is, as a Helldiver, you drop onto onto a planet, check your map, and fuck up as much or as little as you feel like fucking up, then extract. Sometimes with your whole team, and other times, maybe you play a little bit of democratic roulette for the final seat instead. Except democracy never fails the fellow citizen. In the current market where every big co-op game is either a PvP cock crusher or a second job simulator, it's nice to just have one game where you can enjoy the simple pleasures of super robot genocide. Brash tip, be sure to always fasten your seatbelts when extracting, or this could be you. Would you like to know more?
2 standing orders in this platoon. 1, take good care of your feet. 2, try not to do anything stupid.
You got it, Lieutenant Dan. I got my leg hands, Lieutenant Dan. Now that I've told you how we're fighting, it's time to tell you who we're fighting. There are 2 armies that fight 2 different enemies that provide 2 completely different experiences. There's, I'm from Buenos Aires and I say kill them all. And Latracer's freaking binary. Don't let the orbital malware get the landmine. But this video will not be talking about my use of a 12-gauge pest deterrent because there's a larger threat that you pansies are ignoring. Oh, you think the bugs are hard? The bugs have 2-star players, right? This big fuck that headbutts people and this guy that throws up on people. I'm sorry to say it, but you're just fighting kindergarteners. Sure, you got the Bile Titan that's more difficult to fight, but not when you deliver an orbital back shot. Meanwhile, while you've been enjoying your Kodak moments, live, laugh, loving, enjoying the goddamn merry-go-round, shooting rainbows out of your assholes, etching your names into trees and KISSING, we've been fighting communists. And the shit we've seen, it makes nightmares look like a trip to Kokomo, Marty. I'm talking sandals, full package, spa and facial included, Marty. Couples retreat, hammocks, and 5 o'clock dinners, Marty. You know what's worse than a commie man? A commie robot, because they can't even feel the hurt we're putting on him. You know, for a long time, I thought the HE barrage radius was a flat circle, but now I understand that it really just shoots anywhere except for where the beacon lands, Marty. Why does it not fucking ever hit him, Marty? Whole fucking thing, man. It's all one big fucking lie. I don't know where I was going with this, Marty. Now, technically, the Super Earth True News Networks calls them socialist automatons. In fact, just so I don't get my head rightfully liberated from my body, here's the official wording from the Ministry of Truth.
The socialist automatons terrorize innocent families.
However, Oxford Dictionary states that, in Marx's theory, socialism is a transitional state between the overthrow of capitalism and the realization of communism. So, brother, in Flake's theory, socialism is the transitional state between my foot going up their commie ass, because not a goddamn soul is rescinding my right to buy a 4K TV at Costco. The robots are aggressors, heavy hitters. In fact, I'd wager to say that we actually fight a lot closer to how Charlie did back in the day, because now we're the ones hiding in the goddamn bushes from the flaming Verfus, jumping out yelling, "Die AI, serial code number 72398234319." We are if the VC weren't fighting with SKSs and rice, but rather striking the fear into Smokey's heart via napalm gender reveal parties. They got tanks, kamikazes, legally distinct dreadnoughts, shield bots, legally distinct ATSTs, these fuckers, those fuckers. Even the grunts are not very kind. But by far the worst are these waffle-launching, body-annihilating C-3PO wannabe pricks. I hate them not because they're the best troop, but because I'm constantly zoned out, you know, chilling, thrilling, in my prime, kicking it with the bros, thinking about the hoes, taking in the scenery. Then bam, I'm jousting with Jesus. I'm taking more shots to the face than the girls back in Saigon. I'm getting cocked more than John Wayne's rifle. I'm getting pounded, is what I'm trying to say. And the higher the difficulty you go, the more these space Hueys are gonna be flying in to drop off load after load after load of these troops in order to pummel your freedom-loving ass into the dirt until you learn the concept of stealth. I'd rather die than learn this stealth. I believe that if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a rope. And after seeing all that, if you still believe that the bug struggle even comes close, well then you can take your roach motels and shove them up your keister. Check out these commie cannons.
Turns out I just activated the cannon. I'm
sorry.
sorry.
Brash tip. If you want to help the team even remotely, don't use turrets, use mortars. At the very least, you'll send your teammate to collect their 72 freedoms at the managed democracy in the sky. Now it's time for the main event. The best part of this game, stratagems. AKA what we divers call mail order brides. Because you pick one out and it blows some dude in the middle of Gary, Indiana. And the nickname becomes even more accurate when the scrambler debuff is in effect because you think you're ordering Scarlett Johansson dancing, and instead you get Fat Bastard. Off the bat, I'll say it because Robo Charlie is beating the pussyfooting gene out of my DNA. This nuke has failed democracy so many times it should be tried for treason. When I think of a nuke, I think historically. I think turning a country from samurais to anime levels of devastation, not a radius shorter than my dick. If I nuked a McDonald's, I couldn't kill a motherfucker in the drive-thru with this. You feel me, pimp? The better nuke is activating the hell bomb without telling your teammates. Brash tip. It's not treason if it's funny.
You're actually a cute little robot. I'm gonna keep this one. You guys cool with I really gotta pay more attention.
Now listen, I'm not gonna jibber jabber on about all these orbital lawnmowers. I'm gonna save that for the orbital lawnmower tier list video. As for right now, allow me to educate you on a build that'll blow Binary Charlie so hard they'll pick a side. The HE walking napalm railgun build is the best build since God was building his shacks, brother. When I throw down the HE barrage, I don't know what the fuck this is going to hit. It might hit the target, it might hit a robot oil line down the street, it might hit me. And if it hits a teammate, take it up with Super Earth. I don't control this shit. The walking barrage is for when the AG barrage completely misses everything I called it in to hit. Napalm because I love the smell of napalm in the morning. Yes, airstrikes are better. No, I will not get rid of napalm. Because success is not results. It's a mentality. For example, my napalm just fell out of my hands and killed me. That's success. I just burnt my teammate alive. That's success. That airstrike just blew me up. You know what didn't? My napalm. It burnt me alive. Because guess what? That's success. And as for the railgun, well, I guess it's all right. I love you, railgun! Bang, bang, bang! The railgun will save your ass from any bad situation unless that situation is your failing marriage. That is, unless you follow this one easy trick. Turn off that safety on the railgun and hold the trigger until you can finally have a little bit of peace. Fuck, I'm still here. Brash tip. Treason is the best stratagem there is. It wasn't like that. No,
Now you get free air support, baby.
Yeah, no, I know. That's what I'm trying to do. Now, as for weapons, that R. Kelly rifle is worse than if I just whipped out my dick and actually pissed on him. The revolver does no damage, and it does not penetrate. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with that. We all come up short sometimes. That semi-auto's a semi-auto. Worse yet, it doesn't even have DP rounds. And that explosive rifle from the Premium Battle Pass is Premium Battle Ass! Come on, baby, take me down! God! There's only one gun that any of us should be using, and that's the Breaker. Say with me now. This is my Breaker. There are many like it, but this one is mine. My Breaker is my best friend. It is my life. I must master it as I must master my life. Without me, my Breaker is useless. Without my Breaker, I am useless. I must fire my Breaker true. I must shoot straight. Fucking your Breaker, Megan.
I was just cocking it like you told me to, Superfleet.
I told you to treat it like your best friend, not your right hand. Get out of here. I used to cock that Breaker. Cheating hard. Let's talk protection. There are 4 degrees of armor. Light, medium, heavy, and holy. And whereas all the other super bitches out there rely on speed, skill, strength, I rely on my crippling addiction to gambling. How much you want to bet that's my boss? No, really, I'm talking money lines, parlays. It will be my boss. He is calling to fire me. He's currently wearing a striped blue shirt, and his wife cheated on him in the last week. I have $50,000 in unmarked bills. I'm just kidding. Unless? No? Okay. Give me a second. Yellow? Nah, you're killing me, pal. All right, man, I got a jet. That was Super Master Chief on the line, yeah. We have lost the Vietnam War. Again. And he also told me that he knows that we've been selling state secrets to Space Dam in exchange for Cole's cash. You may know it as the Bitcoin before Bitcoin. Hello? Pimp Shaker Central's gone broken arrow. Destroy the hard drives, burn the record. So unfortunately, I gotta cut off this propaganda reel right here. I got about 3 hours to make it across the super Mexican border so I can claim super asylum. Brash tip, it turns out Cole's cash is very traceable. This has been your Super Earth Public Service announcement. Would you like to know more? Everybody say about the bed.
Everybody knows you never go full retard.
Thanks to Pip Shaker Central for buying the war bonds that supported this 16-minute video, and another huge thanks to all the Pimperers for providing the nukes. Sure, did we lose Space Dam? Yes, but we all learned a much more valuable lesson. It's all the bug players' fault.
Hey, you know, I was playing a game of Survivor, and I leaped the killer for 7 consecutive hours, and I unhooked, you know, 18 other survivors, and I healed for 93 health states. I fixed 10 generators. It's such an amazing game. I truly am a god amongst mankind when I play Dead by Daylight. But then, right at the end, I got thrown on a hook and I died, and I don't like that counts as a loss. And the idea here is, all that, and sometimes you get out alive.
Right? Like, wouldn't that be nice? That's the idea. That's all MMR is trying to do, is it goes, I know that you died, it's ignoring how you got there, because there's too much nuance to be able to make a real effective system. So we just ignore that.
One of the most notorious debates in DBD is whether or not the old emblem-based or ranked-based matchmaking system was better than the current skill-based matchmaking system. This conversation gets brought up constantly, and it's usually associated with a lot of blanket statements and confusion in general. So in this video, I really want to explain why the old ranked-based matchmaking system was not only far superior to SBMM, but going even further than that, why it was one of the greatest matchmaking systems in modern gaming and should have been used as an example for how other games in the industry approached matchmaking, and why it's just such a tragedy that Behavior didn't recognize that at the time and instead abandoned it in favor of the more widely used skill-based matchmaking system. Now, there's a lot of elements of this debate we need to cover, so in order to do that in a way that is not super confusing and convoluted, I'm going to talk about these matchmaking approaches as individually as possible and then compare them at the end. Let's start with what was so great about the old ranked-based matchmaking system and why it should have been a pioneer for matchmaking design in the gaming industry. Now, the system was changed a bit here and there, but essentially it worked like this. There were 20 ranks in the game. 20 was the lowest rank for absolute beginners, and rank 1 was the top rank in the game. In order to rank up, you had to play well, not win. You could technically reach rank 1 without ever getting a 4K or escaping a match. This was done through the pip system, gauging all of the different gameplay factors in the game, how well you did in chase, how many hooks you got, how many unhooks you got, gen defense, gen progression, etc. On the 13th of every month, ranks would reset and send players back 10 ranks, which was later changed to 5 ranks. So if you were level 1, you'd go back to level 5, and if you were level 5, you'd go back to level 10, so on and so forth. This meant that if you were a really sweaty player and used the best perks or whatever, you would gain pips really fast after rank reset and be back to rank 1 pretty quickly, where you would get matched against other players who did the same thing. As the month went on, more and more players would slowly reach rank 1. So let's explore the different outcomes of this. If you were a new player or just a true casual player, you would stay between rank 20 and rank 10. If you were more of an average player, you would stay within the rank 5 to 10 region. If you were an above average player, you would hit rank 1 at some point in the month, but it would take you a while to get there. If you were a tryhard, you'd hit rank 1 relatively fast,
But later, as the month went on and the player pool got more diluted, your matches would become easier. So no matter where you were, your matches would be more varied. Those really insanely sweaty matches would be few and far between because the game wasn't directly incentivizing them, or as they used to call them, DPIP squads. If you are an OG player, you can really recognize this because DBD was way less balanced during this time than it is right now, but looking back at it, it doesn't feel that way because the matchmaking system was promoting playing well over playing to win, while simultaneously separating players into visible and easy to understand ranked brackets. Everyone knew where they stood and what they were most likely getting themselves into when queuing up for a match. Now, I don't want to look back at the old rank-based matchmaking system with rose-tinted glasses. There were, of course, issues with it. However, they were all incredibly easy to fix and surely would have been if the system hadn't been prematurely abandoned for SBMM. So what could have made the old rank system perfect? Firstly, the decision to change rank reset to -5 ranks instead of 10 ranks was a mistake. Over time, this pushed more and more players to the top bracket, Red Rank 1, which watered down the value of the ranks, leading to a similar situation to what SBMM is doing in the game right now, but we'll get to that later on. The point is that rank reset should have stayed at -10 ranks so that it upheld its value and didn't water down the player pool. Another issue that gets brought up with the old ranked system is that players would often exploit it by queuing up with one low-ranked player so that they could play against low-level killers and bully them. Now, this is true, it happened quite a bit, but there's some important things to consider here. One, this is still possible even with SBMM. I'd show you a clip, but I'm confident that the content creator who proved this would copyright claim this video if I did that, so instead I'll leave a link to the clip in the description. More importantly though, this should not be possible in either system. Whether the old emblem ranked system or SBMM, matchmaking should always be based on who the highest ranked or highest MMR player is in the lobby. Trying to find an average or going off of the party leader's rank is always going to be exploited, so address that directly. It's not a fault of either system, and it's frustrating when people use this as an example to tear down the old emblem system, because not only do they not realize it's still happening in SBMM, but because MMR is hidden, they don't actually see it. It's just very disingenuous or ignorant to use this to argue against the old ranked system. It's an exploit that should never have existed in the first place, and it has nothing to do with either matchmaking system's viability. Another similar argument was that players and even popular streamers at the time would purposely derank off stream so they could dominate on stream or in pre-recorded videos to make themselves look like an amazing player, when in reality they were just deranking to pub stomp. This is seen in a lot of other games through smurfing, where someone who's highly skilled will make a new account to outplay everyone at an unfair skill level. However, in DBD, making a smurf account doesn't really work because DBD is all about the grind, so that's why players would derank instead. So the first thing here is that this was always more of a conspiracy theory than an actual proven fact. If big content creators were constantly doing this, it would have been very obvious to see. Did it happen? Of course. I'm not trying to imply that it never happened, only that people made disproportionate claims of how often it was actually happening. Deranking for hours after a stream is nearly insane. And like I said, it would have been very obvious to see unless they went through the extreme effort to hide their rank. However, all of that said, this still would have been easy to fix. Like they do with grades now, they simply needed to add a safety net for depipping. So once a player hits purple rank 5, for example, they would no longer be able to depip back to purple rank 6. So until rank reset came around, they would be soft locked at that rank for the month. And maybe rank 5, rank 10, and rank 15. They could all have these soft locks present to keep players at different skill levels contained. Another easily solvable problem with the old rank system is that some of the score events that give you pips were not designed well for certain killers, especially those that relied on instant downs, causing them to depip often even when winning a match. Again, this isn't really a fault of the system itself and more of a behavior problem. They simply needed to update the score events for different powers. It could have been solved very simply. Now for the last big issue about the old rank system, I want to talk about an issue I had with it personally. It's something I don't see people bring up very often, but it's when I would decide to take a few months break from DBD, maybe a new game would come out, or I'd just get bored of playing, and then I would return and the game would drop me from red rank 1 all the way back down to rank 20, which is just insane because I was forced to pub stomp my way all the way back to about rank 8, which is where I would start needing to use my brain again. And this happened multiple times. So a solution to this problem would have been to hard limit rank resets based on your highest achieved rank. For example, for players like myself who hit rank 1, there's no reason we should ever drop down back below rank 10. That should just never be possible. Rank reset is still important, but not to the degree where you get set back to kindergarten. It just was really silly and short-sighted. So now it's time to move on to skill-based matchmaking. Every player now has a hidden matchmaking rating somewhere between 0 to 2,800. The starting point is 650, and the top bracket of players currently starts somewhere between 1400 to 1500 MMR, but behavior does tweak this from time to time. It's all a bit confusing and it takes a lot of time to explain in detail, so check out my slightly outdated video here if you're interested in a thorough explanation of how MMR works. Now, it's really hard to say anything positive about SBMM because even the parts of it that aren't that bad are still better under the old rank-based matchmaking system. SBMM at its core is theoretically designed to protect really bad players from highly skilled players and push everyone else to the middle. However, that's not the reality. This is due in large part to the fact that prior to SBMM being added to DBD, the game had no definitive win condition. Players made up their own win conditions. For some, it was to pip. For others, it was if 3 or more teammates escaped, or if they got a 3-kill game or a 4-kill game. It was all really up to the player. Yet with the SBMM, a clear win condition had to be created, and the win condition behavior implemented is basically, if you escape a trial through the exit gate, you win. Nothing else matters. For killer, you have to get 3 to 4 kills to win, otherwise you draw or lose. Pipping does not mean anything anymore other than a blood point bonus at the end of every month. Now you might say, what changed? Why would any player care if they win or lose? Why would anybody in their right mind want to purposely have the highest MMR or care about losing MMR if they can't even see it? So what's happening with those questions is you're looking at SBMM in the wrong way. Nobody really cares what their MMR rating is. If they could see it, they would care, but you can't see it. So again, nobody actually cares. Regardless of that, players like to win, and now behavior has set a definitive win condition in the game. So what happens is that the majority of players get to the top bracket after about 50 wins, which happens way faster now because behavior lowered the soft cap. Once you are here, you are basically red rank 1 from the old ranking system with a few key differences. One is that you can't really escape the top bracket once you're in it anymore. There's no depipping, and a bit like the soft cap, preventing players from getting enormously high MMR scores that would prevent them from ever finding a match. The top bracket of MMR has a safety net, so to speak, that prevents you from losing too much MMR even when you are on a losing streak. This prevents players from deranking their MMR, which you might think sounds like a good thing, but with the lack of any rank reset, players are now put into a gaming experience that's permanently sweaty with absolutely no breaks. Again, it's just a tragedy because there's so much variety in DBD and you just rarely see it once you're in this bubble. Some people refer to it as high MMR, but in reality it's more like, I know how to play the game and I like to win MMR. That's not to say that the matchmaking system doesn't make any effort to match players together beyond the entry point for the top bracket. It does, it just doesn't mean that much. Once you're here, you're going to see the same perks, playstyles, and killers over and over again. As time goes on, this is only going to get more severe. The psychology is, I'm about to play a really competitive match, and if I want a chance to win, I need to bring in the best build I possibly can and play every match like a quasi-tournament. I pointed out in one of my last videos about how the reviews for DBD are tanking, and there's no grand movement behind this. All of the top DBD content creators make pretty positive content about the game. It's just the average everyday players are losing patience with how sweaty the game feels and that they're voicing their opinions. Now for the last segment of this video, I want to show you a story about SBMM versus a well thought out and play tested matchmaking system. Now this is a Games Radar article that was written in defense of SBMM. I'll link the full article in the description, but here I just want to highlight their main defense points of SBMM. He writes that SBMM is an algorithm that groups players of similar skill levels together for more balanced matches. A game delivering a fairer experience for everyone should not be controversial, yet this is easily one feature that big content creators and angry forum users seem to complain about the most. And after his 300 hours or so playing Modern Warfare 2, which is the game he's talking about here, he thinks that it's time to stop moaning about skill-based matchmaking. So he starts off the article with the claim that the majority of people who don't like SBMM are content creators because we just want to pub stomp every match we play so that we can get easy clips to make content with, and as he puts it, the legions of devoted sheeple that follow us and regurgitate everything big content creators say. Beyond content creators, he also blames angry forum users or sweaty teenagers hopped up on Monster energy drink. So beyond his fallacious arguments that are factually wrong, and I'll get to that part of the story soon, his main argument is that SBMM is a necessary part of maintaining a healthy player base, because it makes casual players play against each other and sweaty players play against each other, which is how it should be in his view. And to be fair, on a surface level, it's easy to agree with that viewpoint. It sounds completely rational up until you have an actual game developer, in this case Max Hoberman, the designer of Halo 2 and Halo 3's critically acclaimed matchmaking system, respond to it directly. So in response to this article, Max wrote, "The ignorance here is infuriating. What I implemented cleanly divided the space into ranked and unranked matchmaking playlists, ranked filtered opponents based on level. This is when you wanted a competitive match. But even then, I intentionally allowed variability in the range of levels we matched you with. This variability was a topic of hot debate internally during development 20 years ago. Obviously, no one wants to get stomped continuously. On the flip side, it gets dull for most people continuously stomping others. However, it is fun having the upper hand some of the time. By intentionally allowing a range of skills to match together, we provided 3 experiences in ranked matchmaking. An easier one where you can kick butt, a harder one where you're likely outmatched, and an evenly matched one. My theory was that a good mix of these 3 was ideal. So even in the ranked playlist, they found through heated debates and play testing that even in a ranked competitive environment, having every match be completely equal in terms of outcome was not fun. It's not fun for casual players, and it's not fun for competitive players either. But let's let him continue. Why not always evenly match people though? My reasoning was that these are actually the most stressful matches of the set. Sure, they're the most fun to watch for spectators, games come down to the wire. That's because the team that wins is the team that outperforms expectations. The failure of modern skill-based matchmaking, in my honest opinion, is that it's designed to maximize these perfect match scenarios and minimize the others. When it's working, a majority of games become super tight, super stressful. That's not fun for most players. Where's the variability? The system that I designed for ranked playlists ensured a healthy mix. Sure, it sucks watching your favorite team get their butt kicked, but it comes full circle when they're the ones kicking butt. Throw in tight, evenly matched games every so often, and that's a ton of fun. And I just love the fact that he's not even referring to SBMM and DBD specifically here, but rather SBMM in general, and he still hits the net on the head perfectly for describing why players are not enjoying SBMM in DBD. There's no variability, and every match is stressful, which is just not fun for most players. But now let's let him finish his point. I haven't even gotten to the unranked playlist yet. I designed these to not factor in skill level in the search for opponents. Yes, our engineers utilized the same code base and kept skill level as a search criteria, but we substantially deprioritized it in matchmaking. We also didn't track skill level globally, only per playlist. The net result was that the unranked matchmaking allowed a very wide range of skill levels to match together for what everyone agreed was casual, inconsequential fun. Again, that's the way it should be, in my opinion. Since the natural skill level distribution of players follows a bell curve, there are outliers, inherent low skill and high skill players, characterizing the high skill ones as sweaty teens hopped up on Monster Energy is really disrespectful. Segregating high skill players from the population at large, forcing long wait times on them, is a form of discrimination. Designers should strive to find a way that players of all skill levels can have fun together. Casual, inconsequential, unranked matchmaking is one way. I dabbled with handicap settings and asymmetric game mode design as others. Game dev should not take the easy way out and default to segregation though. There's far more that can be done. Derogatory views like this among other game devs is a cop-out and a disservice to players. So basically, SBMM is a lazy and short-sighted way to implement matchmaking, and the longer-term consequences result in a game that slowly feels less and less fun to play for players at every skill level. So this idea that it only affects sweaty players or content creators is just purely false. Now he also talks about having a ranked and unranked playlist. I've explored this subject a few times on the channel. If you're interested in that, I'll link those videos in the description. However, the way I see it now, whether it's the old rank-based matchmaking system or SBMM, DBD's core mode is quite literally ranked already. There is no casual or unranked mode in the game, but like he said, even in a truly ranked playlist that shows you your actual level like Halo 2 and 3 did, there still needs to be variability within it
I'll be
for
turning my
players to
PC
have
off.
an